Happy New Year. This is episode 101, and this is the first update of 2022. It has been a few weeks since the last episode, so apologies for that. Going into 2022, I've made some changes to the frequency of the portfolio update. This will be a monthly update or maybe within another episode. I've decided to do this as I'm making less changes to the positions I'm holding as my portfolio has matured. It also gives me more time to work on other upcoming videos and content on different topics like stock analysis and other videos around money management and investing. Let me know what kind of videos you would like to see in the comments of this one, and I'll make sure I try and get those videos out. I'm also looking to step up my video editing skills, so hopefully these videos will be more engaging and visually better. In this video, I'm going to look at the performance of my Trading 212 ISA. I was planning to include the stake portfolio, the performance of 2021, and a few other things, but I've simply run out of time, and that will be in a future video. So don't forget to hit that bell notification so you don't miss those videos. Please always remember that videos on this channel are for entertainment purposes only and should not be considered as financial advice. So let's dive into the Trading 212 ISA. Okay, so this is what the portfolio looks like right now as of 5th of January 2022. The portfolio current value is at £19,080.11. I've invested £14,599.68. Returns at the moment is £4,481.67. That's 30.7% in the green. These numbers will fluctuate as at the time of recording this video, the markets are still open. So with that being said, let's have a look at the 1 year mark. And the portfolio did open at, well, 1 year ago, it was at £10,843. And I had invested £9,833, and my returns were around 10.28%, which was around £1,010. So since then, if we look at it percentage-wise, it has done considerably well. It was up around 10.28% to 30.71%. So it has grown quite a lot over that time. I've also added a few extra £1,000 into the portfolio as well. So in terms of its growth over the 1 year, I'm actually shocked at how well it's done. I'm amazed at how well the markets have done overall. And that's just, you know, like we're still in a pandemic. It has kind of opened up slightly. And yeah, the markets are stronger than ever. Like we haven't seen growth like this in ever, I think. And it's crazy that a lot of this growth is down to because of the pandemic. Is that because loads of people had loads of money? I'm not really sure why. Obviously the tech stocks, but the other industries, which are also very surprising. So, but then you've got also some of these stocks like Airbus, which I did buy. I started buying into it around 126. So they've just about recovered. So, which is also kind of interesting as well. So I bought fairly cheap, so that's why they're doing really well. But yeah, I do want to take a look at some of the stocks that have done really well. You can pause the video to check out some of the stats of the stocks through this list if you're interested in looking at them. So you can pause the video as I scroll through these. But I do want to talk about some of the stocks that have done really well for me personally. And I'm also going to talk about some of the changes that I've done to this portfolio today. I have closed a position and I have sold a little bit of some other stocks, and I have topped up a few others as well. So let's talk about the stocks. So like I did say, Airbus has actually done really, really well. It is up 87.44% since my overall position. So I'm really happy with that. My average price is around 60 euros. So it has done particularly well, and I'm really happy with that. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this one is performing. So I've got nothing else to say with that one. I do expect this to pick up as travel and, you know, other countries do open their borders. And I do expect Boeing to do a similar thing as, you know, the airline industry or travel and tourism industry do open up, I do expect these two companies to start picking up orders from airlines, as kind of like the industry's opening up. And, I do expect these two companies to do quite well when that happens. But the question is, when is that going to happen? Because there is a lot of things going on. There's like a new variant, and then a bunch of countries close their borders, make it a lot harder for people to travel, and it just deters everyone. Personally, I don't think it's as bad as it was. I think it's a lot less now, in my opinion, but I could be wrong. So with that, let's move on to the next stock that I do want to talk about. In terms of good stocks for 2022, I do think obviously all the tech plays are going to do really, really well, such as Alphabet. That has done considerably well over the 1 year period. So a year ago, it was around $1,775 and it's at $2,811. So that is actually a really good increase. I'm up 46.69% on this. And I do only have 0.2 of a share, so barely anything, but it's still something. So it is definitely something I do want to increase. The other tech stock that I do think is going to do really well is Apple. Apple is quite an interesting one, because if we look at it over the last 3 months, it has gone up 26%. I know there's a chip shortage. Like when I was buying my iPhone 13 Pro, the big one, the Max, I had to wait over a month for that, and that wasn't even a pre-order. So there is definitely demand for Apple products, in my opinion. They are making great stuff. Like I've literally just got into the whole Apple ecosystem with the watch, the iPhone, the MacBook, and the AirPods, and I see what people are saying about the experience, and you can't get that experience from anywhere else. So it is quite an interesting one to see that. Personally, I've always thought it was like, don't believe the hype kind of thing. But yeah, it is definitely an experience where I think other companies like Microsoft don't offer that whole immersive experience. So yeah, I do think Apple is going to do tremendously well. I wouldn't be surprised if Apple hits $220 this year. Obviously, this isn't financial advice, but this is what I'm doing. I will be buying a little bit more into Apple. This morning I had 10.5 shares of Apple. I've managed to increase that to 12 today. So it is doing pretty well. My average price is at $133. It was around 120, I believe, this morning. So because the share price is actually quite high, so I've just purchased a little bit extra, like 1.5 additional shares to my position. So I'm up around £412. That's 35.41% in the green. I do think it is definitely going to be one of my stocks to increase in 2022, and also one for me to watch quite closely, because I do think they're going to do quite well. The other tech stock that I do think is going to do well is Cloudflare. Cloudflare has had a shocking few months, if I'm honest. Over the last 3 months, it is down 13.62%, but that's just not right. It did hit around 217. I think it did hit around 220 around this time. And yeah, it has had a really poor few months, and it's just tanked off. I haven't looked into why, but it is a long-term stock for me. So if it does go below 90, I will be looking to top up on this position. It is definitely a long-term play, and if there is another lockdown, or if the world does go into another one of these lockdowns, then I do think Cloudflare is going to be a good position to buy into. Obviously, I think this is probably just a correction for now. It is actually kind of funny that I had almost hit 1,000% on this, and it's down to less than 500, but it's the way it goes. It is going to fluctuate, but for me, like I said in my previous videos, that this is going to be a long-term stock for me. So I've got 15 shares. My average price is at $17.84. I'm up £982. That's 461%. So this is probably one of those cases where I probably should have sold at the top and then bought it back again, but it is a long-term play for me. I'm literally going to be holding this for maybe 5 to 10 years. That's kind of what I initially expected for Cloudflare to be, and I still expect it to be holding it for that long. The other tech stock that I have in here, which is Microsoft, and Microsoft has done incredibly well over the last 12 months. It is up 46.98%, which is insane. I've only got 2.26 shares in Microsoft, and this is another one that I'll be looking out to increase in 2022. I am up 55.09% in this stock, up £189. My average price is at $201.60. So yeah, for me, this is another tech stock that I do want to be pushing in 2022, and hopefully I can get this to a nice 5 shares in total, but it is definitely one that I'll be looking into for 2022. And that is it for my tech stocks. Let's talk about the stocks that I've purchased this week. I've added to Walt Disney. I think it is a really good price in my opinion for now. It is at around $158. So I decided to add a little bit more to this. I've got 6.1 shares in this portfolio. I do have 1 share in my Freedom 24, but we won't really cover that on this channel for now. I do want to cover Freedom 24, but that is when I actually am keen on one of the IPOs. So we'll dive into that in a future video, but I do have a review on 𝐅𝐫𝐞𝐞 also in the description. But yeah, so with this one, I'm quite happy with Walt Disney right now. It is another long-term play. When you do think of Walt Disney, it is a behemoth of a company, and I do think there's going to be some sort of bounce back with Walt Disney, as there is less restrictions, and the US states, maybe Florida, I think, start to ease up on their restrictions, and the parks are at full capacity, etc. I do think Walt Disney is going to do tremendously well, but then also with the cinemas as well, with their movies when they do come out and get big blockbuster IPOs. Blockbuster IPO? What am I talking about? Blockbuster movies at the box office. So I do think that will definitely help them as well. But it would also be interesting to know how movies on their Disney Plus platform, that they charge the extra money to watch new releases. I would love to know how that is actually performing for them. Or have you actually purchased any of those movies when they've decided to release it on Disney Plus? Because I haven't. I have no interest in that. I'd rather go to the cinema to watch the experience, just because if I'm at home, I'll probably just watch it on my computer, and I'm like, the experience is probably just like a standard Disney Plus episode. Anyway, so with that being said, those are the positions that I have increased today. I did close a position today, and that was Barrett Development. So with Barrett Development, let's find it here. I might as well get it up. BDEV. Yeah, this one. So I did close this position today. I did close it around £7.56, 57p. And the reason why I thought I'd close it, because I was up around 51%. It definitely wasn't the highest it has been over the last year. It did hit highs of around 795. And if we do look around 2020, it did hit around 863. So I didn't sell it at its highest. Decided I wanted to put that money into Apple and a bit into Walt Disney, because I saw better opportunities for them to grow. I think Barrett Developments, in my opinion, has kind of hit its threshold for now. I may buy back into it if it goes below £7. But for now, I'm pretty happy with my decision. And it is a dividend stock, so I should be expecting less dividends this in 2022, just because I did sell a bit. Well, I did close the position, so I would expect that to drop. But I will be looking to put some money into another dividend stock later this year. The other position that I have reduced, sorry, didn't close, reduced. I reduced my position in Energy Transfer this morning. I did sell 7 shares just to bump up my Apple to get it to 12. And the reason why I did this is because I think it was a good price, just to reduce it a little bit. For now, I am looking to slowly cut back on Energy Transfer. soon. I know I should have sold it when it did hit the highs of around $10, $11, but I was pretty adamant that I was going to stick to it, and I was hoping for it to hit 14. But I think I won't go below 450 with energy transfer this year. So I may sell another 45 shares, but we will see what I decide on that. And that is pretty much all I want to talk about in this portfolio. I guess for 2022, I do want to get VICI to 50 shares. So I'll be looking to buy into another 19 shares of VICI throughout the year. And I think 50 should be a good enough number for me. For VICI, I also do want to look at reducing my positions ever so slightly, because at the moment I've got 22 positions in this portfolio. I do want to get it down to 20. At the moment, Main Street Capital is my largest, followed by Energy Transfer, Realty Income, Apple, Cloudflare, National Grid, etc. So you get the idea. So yeah, I'll be looking to reduce this position ever so slightly in 2022. Position, number of holdings that I have. So 2 may go, but we'll see what I decide on that. That's it for this episode. I did want to cover more, including the stake portfolio, the performance of 2021, and the overall dividends that I've received throughout 2021, including the growth. But that will be covered in a future episode, just because we have run out of time. So don't forget to hit that bell notification and that subscribe button so you don't miss that video. Also, links in the description if you do want to open a trading 212 account or any of the other brokerages, you get a free share. And don't forget to check out 𝐅𝐫𝐞𝐞. See you in the next one.